All right, today we begin our introduction into IPC or physics part of the tax test. Now what I've found over the years is that this is one of the topics that students really struggle with, and it's really not as much the science part as it is the math part. If you struggle with the math part, that's going to make the IPC section hard. So I'm going to give a little bit of introduction into that. First, let me show you this. When you take the tax test, this is typically what they'll give you. They'll end up giving you a formula chart that's got all the formulas that they let you use, and you're allowed to use this on the test along with a calculator. But if you struggle with math, some of these equations can look incredibly difficult to use. I would first tell you this, that there's some special information down here in this bottom box that you use in these formulas, and if you don't know how to use them, you didn't even know that these values were here. So as we go along through some of these units, I'm going to use these values so that you know how to use them on the chart. But we're going to talk about first, not the formulas and the concepts for IPC, we're going to talk about math skills first, because that's an area that I see students struggle with. Whenever you have a formula such as y equals mx plus b, which is a mathematics equation that you've seen in algebra, which is actually in this case the formula for a line. What students struggle with a lot is how to rearrange a formula, or sometimes how to put numbers in it and solve for one of them. Well, let's talk about algebra for a second, and then we'll apply it to that equation. The easiest way I know to explain math is like this. When we were in elementary school, you would have a seesaw or a teeter-totter that the kids would play on. You put one kid on this side and then another kid on this side, and they would equal each other out. And so if you added an extra person to this side, you would have to add an extra person to this side to balance it out. That's really what algebra is. Whatever you do on one side mathematically is what you have to do on the other side mathematically to equal it out. Now, let's throw a wrench in it. Let's say that Jack from Jack in the Box climbs up on this side of the seesaw. Well, it may take multiple kids on this other side to equal it out. And that's what algebra is. You're constantly looking for some kind of balance between your two sides. Whatever you do on one side, you got to counteract it on the other side. That's what math skills are all about. So let's take an example. Let's go back to that equation we had. Y equals mx plus b. And let's say that they want us to solve for x. I'm not going to put any numbers in there right now. We're just going to solve for x. So really what I'm doing is just some math skills for a little bit so that when we apply it to the formulas, we know how to do it. Well, if I want to solve for the x, I want to leave that guy right there. I want to move everybody to the other side. Now, when we're talking about that seesaw, it's about a balance. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. Well, if I see a plus b and I need to move it to the other side, I do the opposite, which is minus b. Because plus b minus b is gone. Well, what I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other side. So that means I have y minus b, I had to put it over to the other side over here, equals mx. Now I move the b, so that's gone. Now I still want the x, and so I have to figure out, I must ask myself, how is the m attached to the x? Is that addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division? Well, in this case, it's multiplication. You have to do the opposite to remove it. So m divided by m is gone. What you do on one side, you do on the other side. So y minus b divided by m equals x. There's my answer. I just solved for x. Now you may think, wow, that looked easy when you do it. Let's try another one. Let's say we have this. 3x plus 4y equals 12. We want to solve for y. Well, to solve the equation, you're going to have to move this guy over there. Just leave the y right there. So he has a positive charge, so I'm going to have to subtract 3x on both sides. And so that's gone. And so I had to do it on the opposite side. So 4y equals 12 minus 3x. Are you getting it so far? Well, we're looking for y. So I must ask myself, what is happening for the 4 to attach to the y? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. It's multiplying. So to get rid of it, you do the opposite. 4's are gone. Divide by 4. So y equals 12 minus 3x divided by 4. That's one way you can write it. There's actually another way you can write it also. When it's on the bottom like that, it's actually under each one. So I can say 12 divided by 4 minus 3 divided by 4. X is on the top. You can write it that way. It doesn't matter. With the 4 in both places, it's the same thing. Oh, notice, 12 divided by 4. So I can make that easier on myself. It's 3 minus 3/4 x. Because 12 divided by 4 is 3. There's my answer. I solved for y. So it's really plugging numbers in and moving things around. Okay, let's try a very simple problem. Here's a problem we're going to learn in a couple of lessons in physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. Okay, let's just look at an example. A box of 12 newtons force is having a mass of 12, oops, got to use a different number, I'm sorry, 24 kilograms. What is its acceleration? Give you a second to pause and write this question down. Here's how you work the problem. You always take the formula and you just put the numbers where they go. A box of 12 newtons force, that means that 12 newtons goes right there in that place, is having a mass of 24 kilograms. 24 kilograms. What is its acceleration? There's my question mark. Sometimes if you like algebra, then you put an X there. It doesn't matter. Well, I'm going to erase the question. Let's see if we can work it out. The problem now is 12N, that's just a unit, equals 24 kilograms times question mark. So if I want to answer the question mark, then I've got to divide by 12 kilograms. Excuse me, I wrote that wrong. That's 24 kilograms. I'm going to have to divide by 24 kilograms. I just miscopied it. Divide by 24 kilograms. What I do on one side, I got to do on the other side. 24 kilograms. 12 divided by 24 is 0.5 newtons divided by kilograms. There's my answer. The mathematics is not very difficult at all. You're just putting the numbers where they go and you move the formula around as you need to. One more time. It said you have a 12 newton force. The mass was 24 kilograms. Notice I wrote the numbers right where they go. That's the biggest thing in the IPC section of the tax test. Read the question, put the numbers where they go in the formula, find out what they're looking for, and then do the math. So I rewrote the question without F equals MA. Well, 12N equals 24 kilograms times question mark. Leave the question mark there. That's a multiplication sign. So how do I move that? Divide. It's the opposite. 24 divided by 24, they're gone. What I do on one side, I do on the other side. 12 divided by 24. The N divided by kg just didn't change. 12 divided by 24, 0.5. Most of IPC is going to be mathematics, plugging numbers into formulas. There are going to be a couple of examples along the way where I'll teach you some concepts, and that'll be in the next section. But this is how you use the mathematics in the IPC section of the tax test.